As novelist E.M. Foster observed, one person with passion is better than 40 people who are merely interested. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wizards of the Street. I'm your host, Ramesh Damani. He cut his teeth in finance and markets while still sitting on his father's lap. A rank holder as a chartered accountant, today he manages over $2.5 billion of AUM in India. The secret of his success? He says he knows how to dodge bullets. Please help me welcome to Wizards, the MD and head of Norwest India, Niren Shah. Niren, welcome to Wizards.
Thank you very much. It's an honor being here.
Niren, thank you so much. Niren, a lot of my guests have come from financially unsavvy families. They were first generation in the market. But you came from a financially savvy family. Tell me about your early influences.
So, my biggest influence on the markets was my father. He's a chartered accountant. He's 91 years old, and even today he invests in stocks daily. My mother also is an investor. My grandfather was an investor, and so I saw the first few shares, original shares of ACC. So our dinner table conversations used to be a lot about shares, stocks, bhau copies, things like that. So
yeah, that is an ancient relic, bhau copies.
Ancient relic. And so by standard 9, I was investing in stocks and been given balance sheets, and so that was like kind of very normal for me.
But it's fascinating. The first few lakhs you made it yourself in the stock market. Tell me about that.
So I was a sub-broker during my college days at Sydenham College. I was told by my dad that no investment, just learn. I was actually learning under Professor Mankikar. And I started with my pocket money and kept reinvesting it. Of course, the index went from 1100 to 4500.
This is during the Harshad Mehta boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And before I knew it, I'd made a couple of lakhs, and I was telling my dad, let me buy a car now. And he's like, no, nothing doing. Reinvested back into the markets, right? So
he was right. You don't want to buy a depreciating asset like a car. You want to stick to the depreciating assets. You learned that, I'm sure, over time. When I read your biography, Niren, you have a fascinating biography. You met some of the most influential people in the tech landscape of the next 20 years. Talk to me about who are some of the more prominent people you met and how they have shaped your career.
So I got the opportunity of working very closely with Meg Whitman.
She was the head of eBay, right?
She was the head of eBay, later HP, on the board of P&G.
And ran for governor of California,
ran for governor. She's the US ambassador right now. Then I also had the fortune of working very closely with John Donahoe, who ran eBay.com. He's currently the CEO of Nike. Right? And then, of course, my two mentors here, Pramod Haq, who was Forbes #1 investor of the year, and Jeff Crow, who's the senior managing partner of Norwest. Obviously worked with a lot of sort of amazing tech
luminaries.
people, luminaries, and they've actually disrupted the tech space, right? So I've been very fortunate.
You taught Meg Whitman. In fact, the reason you got to know Meg Whitman is that you started something called Bazi.com, which was bought by eBay.
Yeah.
And when eBay bought it, Meg Whitman told you what about Bazi?
So, Bazi, we had an amazing product which we had built, and the product was way ahead of its time. Of course, the internet at that time was 2 million users in India. This is way back in 2003-04. And when she saw our product, she actually said that this product of yours which you built is actually 3 years ahead of eBay. And we're hoping that in 3 years, we'll be able to get to this product. Right? And she was very impressed by that.
What an endorsement, huh?
What an endorsement.
And how young were you at that time?
I was 27 years old, and at that point of time, I was running product, and it was unbelievable to hear that. And then we also realized that India was so small as a market at that point of time compared to India, compared to the US. And at that point of time, we always wondered that had we built this product in the US, would we have been worth $100 billion?
You'd have been Larry Gates, Bill Gates, Larry Ellison,
correct,
Steve Jobs kind of formula.
Correct.
But you had a great job. You moved up to eBay in America at that time. You came back to India in 2008 as a VC with head of Norwest. There's Tolstoy wrote a very famous short story called The 3 Most Important Questions in Life. We leave the questions to the existentialists. But in terms of equity investing, what are the most important questions that you ask?
So look, we are very fundamental investors, right? And in India, of course, everything starts in Hindi, private markets included.
Yeah.
So I'm notorious for asking this question saying, kitna revenue hai, kitna profit hai, kaun hai iske piche? You know, we're trying to judge over here that is this a company with unit economics, right? We're trying to judge that who are the founders, sort of what is the quality of the founders, what are the ethics and integrity. So, I mean, our job is to sort of understand within the first hour, given that we see 1,000 deals a year, to understand within the first hour whether we want to pursue this or not. So we are sort of, we get to the point very quickly and again.
Sometimes over lunch too.
Over lunch too,
Yeah.
right.
And if the company does not have revenues or profitability or management that you believe, you will pass it over. You're not scared to pass over an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. We will pass all the time, and that's the sort of nature of the beast. I think there are companies which have not got revenue and profit, and we have funded very early on. But the management team, the founding team, that is very, very critical.
That's interesting. I know one company that you funded, despite not having particularly good revenue or definitely not profit, was Swiggy. How did you come out with the idea of Swiggy? Did someone commit to you, or did you search for it?
So this was a very top-down thesis. Actually, at some level, this started off in my household, where every Sunday evening we would eat pav bhaji, which is famous in Mumbai. And I would have to collect that pav bhaji, park in a no parking zone, always get fined, never find parking. And then I was like, listen, how come we don't have something which delivers? So we started a top-down search in food tech, which was not very popular. And we looked at all the teams. And we really, really liked Swiggy, and we really liked their vision for sort of full stack food delivery all the way to your house within 30 minutes. And that's how it all started.
No, but you went through which ones? You went through Zomato and a few others.
Zomato,
and you picked Swiggy.
Food Panda, Tiny Owl. There were a bunch of companies, and then Swiggy was the tiniest. It was actually 500 orders a day, and obviously now they do a couple of million orders a day. So when we started, it was a pretty contrarian strategy to actually go with the fifth largest player, or rather the smallest player there. But we really loved the founding team's vision. Very clear cut. They were very tech driven. Everyone else was doing these phone call orders. I mean, today we can't imagine that, but they were very clear it has to be tech driven.
The app was really
App was amazing. The vision was very, very clear. And again, the energy with which they approached everything, and the kind of, the timing with which they were able to get consumer love, it was just amazing. So for us, it was actually a no-brainer.
You talk about, turning down people. What did you see in that management? Who was the MD at the company at that time, doing 500 orders a day? What did you see in him that you put the weight of Norwest behind him?
So, Harsha, and Harsha is the founder and continues to sort of run this amazingly well, was a remarkably balanced guy. And as I said earlier, that it was just a very clear-cut vision that food delivery, a lot of people were like, we will get some other delivery people to come. But the vision was very simple that, look, when you're hungry, you get angry, right? And you want your food to come on time, you want what you decided. So they were very clear that, look, in certain time with the technology, this should reach you with minimal noise, right? And it should be a seamless consumer experience. And, that vision, and then the ability to execute to that vision. Even at 500 orders, when we called up a lot of customers, they were raving about it. So the ability to do that and execute at such a young stage with no money, because when we came in, the round had not even been done. So to do that, we were blown away.
Niren, I know you are very fussy about unit economics. You're very fussy about profitability. This company had neither and does not have any of those even today. So what translated? What was the compelling investment value there?
So it's a massive need and a pain point, and it's a massive market. So there's food delivery and there's grocery. Both of these are very large markets. It's a $1 trillion market when you count both of these together. And it does take time and effort to build out markets like these. Along the way, we have gone ahead and proven markets. So we proved that Bangalore could be profitable. We proved that Hyderabad could be profitable. At this point, in a few months, it's very possible that the food delivery business there will be profitable.
But a lot of critics of Swiggy and Zomato complain about the new acquisitions that they've done. I guess it's Instamart in terms of...
So Instamart was built, right? So Swiggy hasn't done any big acquisitions. I think Instamart, Swiggy started
But it's
from
bleeding
within.
money, right?
It is bleeding money, but the reason for that is, again, market size is massive. It's a $1 trillion market. So if you really look at this couple of years out and the size of the market, and eventually today you see a household name, like, so, you're able to see Swiggy, people who are delivering, right? Every single morning, there are people who buy Swiggy Instamart. And I think that actually, in terms of the long run, this market could be 5x the size of food delivery.
Really?
Yeah.
And talking in terms of when Zomato is already listed, when do you intend to list Swiggy?
So I think it will take us a couple of years. We're in no hurry to list, but at the same point of time,
They have enough cash here.
They have more than enough cash. The unit economics are improving every single month, and it's a very innovative team.
Talk to me about the startup scene in India. How are you assessing that startup scene in India today?
See, this startup scene in India, we are at an inflection point. So I've sort of felt that if you look at a 200-year history and you look at 100 years behind and 100 years in front, this is the 10 years to be in startups in India.
We'll take a break, come back and chat some more with Niren Shah of Norwest. In seeking, in striving, I'm in it with all my heart. Vincent van Gogh. We continue our heartfelt conversation with MD and head of Norwest India, Niren Shah. Niren, you've had a lot of success too as a partner at Norwest. Talk to me about the ones that you're so excited about and some that maybe didn't work out.
So, we've been very fortunate. I think a lot of the companies we have been working with, I think we have I think we've been fortunate to be able to sort of be, part of the journey with almost about 8 or 9 unicorns. I would say that, we did speak about Swiggy, but there is a company called Off Business. It's currently valued at about, $5 to $7 billion, depending on the primary and secondary markets. Off Business is like a marketplace of all the B2B businesses, starting with steel, bitumen, and it's again a $1 trillion market. It's a company which has been growing at 3x.
You rejected them 3 times, if I'm not mistaken.
That's totally true. And the only reason for that was this kind of business should be profitable. And the minute they became profitable, literally the minute they became profitable, 3 months later, our money went in. Just absolutely stellar founders. They have continued to grow at a stellar pace. And, this year, they'll probably they'll have a PAT of more than 500 crores.
Really?
And this is a company which, the market should basically await because it's definitely going IPO in the next 18 months. And, the profit should hopefully multiply from where it is here.
I forgot to ask you this, but you invested in Swiggy at what market multiple?
It was $25 million pre.
$25 million US, you got Swiggy. And how much you get of Swiggy at that time?
We owned about 19% of Swiggy.
Fabulous. And Off Business, what have you?
So we came in there at a slightly higher valuation because we waited for them to become profitable. So it was about 200 million. But even there, from there to here is almost about a 25.
You hit sixes, my friend. You're known to hitting sixes. Tell me of a company that you invested in but is now listed so we can understand the ride they've had.
So a phenomenal company called 5-Star. It's a company which actually does MSME financing. It recently got listed about 2-3 months ago.
Niren, fascinating. Tell me about the founders.
So Lakshmipati is the founder. He is a gentleman who actually joined this company. It was run by his father-in-law. He joined this company about 20 years ago. He perfected this model over the last 15 years, and only in the last 5 years he took private equity money and started growing it. So it's amazing. It was like, cooking that and perfecting it for 15 years without outside financing, doing small things, experimenting. And then after that, he's gone out and now grown the company, over the last 5 years, literally, as I said, close to 100% CAGR, right? And honestly, it's just an impressive company.
You feel, as a VC, as a listed company, that he's barely scratching the surface yet of the opportunity.
Because the market size is massive. The customer segment is very, very different from what others are doing. And it's very hard for people to give loans at 3 to 5 lakh rupees and actually make the economics work. Banks will do it at 1 crore. Right. I think bigger finance companies will do 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, very different market.
So he does it through technology, obviously.
Actually, it is definitely technology, but there's also a lot of risk management. There's also feet on street. It's a very impressive company.
Interesting. You talked about the sixes. Occasionally you get bored for a duck. Which ones were you disappointed with that didn't work out for whatever reason?
So, we had a company called Quicker, which went all the way to the unicorn. I think they had a couple of, product market misses, lapses. I think sometimes what happens is that it does not work out for the best. I think we tried a lot, but, and I think this is part of investing in very early stages. that sometimes things go well, but if the companies are not able to scale, if the companies, the company had a fraud, and if they have some of these issues, you also, hopefully the idea is that you win 30 and you lose 1. But again, they're trying to make a comeback.
You have a good slug ratio, as they say. In terms of hits and misses, you get lots more hits than you get misses. Talking about drawdowns, a lot of the tech stocks that were powering, the global tech stocks, I'm talking Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, are down 50 to 60%, which leads to a lot of critics to say that the best days of tech are behind them, that was a bubble and it's over. Is it true globally? Is it true in India?
I think that there are two parts to this answer, right? One is that these tech stocks are virtual monopolies. They're like countries, right? So it's going to be a little hard to topple them. And yes, the valuation had gone up and it's come off a bit, but like, take an Amazon. It's the global e-commerce leader. It's, people are going to do more and more e-commerce. It only goes one way. So they will continue to do well. On the other hand, there are companies like, if you look at Facebook, the usage is going down. But again, WhatsApp is a huge sort of, golden nugget there. You take Google, now people are worried about ChatGPT, right, coming in and disrupt, but it will take them years to disrupt these things. So I think that yes, valuation will go up and down, but these people invest a lot in tech and what's new, right? And therefore, I think it's going to be very hard to topple them. They're not just one product companies. They've got a suite of technology and they'll continue to evolve. So I'm at least much more bullish.
Coming back to India, what is the space that Norwest looks at? Where do you find the most interesting value, where you're willing to write your check? What is your ticket size anyway?
Typically, we'll do about $25 to $75 million in each company.
That's a good
It's a good ticket size. We will largely do Series B onwards, late stage venture, or we'll do early growth equity. So that's the ticket size. We're not doing the $150 million, $200 million check sizes. And by exception, we'll even do $5 and $10 million check sizes, right? Where it may be a Series A, we've done 1 or 2, but those will be more 1 or 2 a year. But we've got a very defined sort of, playbook, which has worked quite nicely. And where we'll actually say that, look, between 25 and 75 million, we're your guys.
Okay. But which are the particular sectors? You're not looking at brick and mortar, right? You want to look at technology-led
so we'll do we'll do both. I think that, so we've done a lot in financial services and fintech. We've done a lot in core technology, e-commerce, logistics tech, things like that. Then we're also looking at consumer and we're also looking at healthcare. So those would be the sectors. Any place where we actually feel there's a very strong team and there's a space that can get disrupted, it may not be only because of tech. We would do that. And of course, we care a lot about monetization, as I already spoke.
You are ready for a rapid fire?
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, so let me start you off. An Indian promoter that you admire?
Azim Premji.
From Wipro, of course.
Yes.
A company with the best business model in your view, not necessarily your investee company, but a company whose business model impresses you.
Well, I continue to really like Google because I think they're actually, despite all this ChatGPT, tech company. At heart, any technology, I think that there is a lot of work they're doing at the background. And so I continue to believe that, tech is going to be the future. So someone like
And there's so many assets like YouTube hidden inside it, Gmail, YouTube, which is...
And they don't necessarily monetize it right now, but along the way, they're going to monetize.
They get you hooked and then they'll monetize it.
Yeah.
Any 3 people, living or dead, that you'd like to have over to your home for dinner?
So I think Warren Buffett, because strong fundamental,
He's
contrarian.
a crowd favorite always. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm genuinely very impressed by how Mr. Modi has transformed India, right? There has been a lot of this is a tough country as a democracy to run. And I actually think that at least from the business community standpoint, it's been transformational. So that would be a real privilege. And then again, on a different note, Mother Teresa. So I just think that she's...
So there's a philanthropic side to you and there's a profit side to you. Lovely. I'm going to give you the name of 3 VCs. Who would you like to meet? Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Mark Anderson.
So I think more of Peter Thiel. And I think, again, there are parts of him I really like and parts of him, they would not be me. But I think Peter Thiel is a very first principles. I don't know if you've read his book, 0 to 1.
Of course.
And first principles VC will take any bet, right? He will not be shaped by the herd and is willing to sort of come in early, back people. And so I relate to that a lot more. I don't think Elon is as much of a VC as much as an entrepreneur. So, you know, I think...
Peter Thiel backed Trump and Trump won, so that's his claim to fame. Why are you a Democrat or Republican in American politics?
I'm more versed with Indian politics than American.
Fair enough. A book that you would recommend to aspiring investors?
So I like this, really like this book called Principles by Ray Dalio.
Ray Dalio, just come out, yes.
Unbelievable. Actually, it's about a few years old, so he's come up with different editions. But it's an unbelievable book in terms of just figuring out how you want to run your life and the why behind it. And so I just found that it was sort of very profound for me.
Also a fascinating study of how he's built his businesses. An emerging market that you think will have the maximum unicorns by 2035?
India.
The answer is self-evident.
No brainer.
We have how many, 150 or so right now?
Yeah, but I think that, you know, just the size of the market, the fact that we're the last big English-speaking country, the number of consumers, like we have 800 million internet consumers, US is only 300 million. So as the GDP per capita goes up, right, you're going to produce a lot of unicorns. And again, you know, the stranglehold of big tech is not there. It's not like an Alibaba controls all of e-com, or so, you know, for every Amazon there is a Flipkart, there's a Meesho, there's a, you know, so there are many people. So that's why that, you know, under that sort of big forest cover, a lot of stuff is growing. So I think it's going to be
once told me there are 1 billion people in India, there'll be 1 billion companies in India. So a lot of companies will prosper out here. Okay, higher or lower over the next 5 years, Bitcoin or Etsy?
Bitcoin.
A cloud company or an artificial intelligence company, what would you bet on?
I mean, in certain aspects, clearly AI, because it does a lot more than the cloud. But again, I don't think that AI companies are going to be like every second company in AI is going to win. I think there is like, it takes deep AI, and certain companies will become very, very large. Cloud companies, on the other hand, a lot of, you know, global SaaS is going to do very well, but there'll be many, many companies. So kind of.
Active or passive investing?
Absolutely active.
Okay. Higher or lower, the Sensex over 1 year?
Higher.
Bitcoins, higher or lower over 1 year?
Higher.
Oil over 1 year, higher or lower?
I think the same.
Over the next 5 years, would you rather have your home in Silicon Valley or in Bangalore?
In Mumbai.
In Mumbai?
Mumbai. I'm betting on Mumbai making some comeback on the tech scene. So I think this whole Mumbai, Pune sort of, you know, needs to get developed. So I'm very happy here. So
You're still in love with the environments of the BSc where you grew up with, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Lovely. It is said, chase down your passion like it's the last bus of the night. Clearly, Niren, you've done that with all your investments. Thanks for coming in and joining and sharing your passions with us on Wizards.
Thank you so much, Ramesh. It's been a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you.